empty cup. Just crack a smile and fill it up. Fill it up.
Welcome to After the Final Pour, care of the malting hour. If it was its own thing where other people did stuff, whatever. It's After the Final Pour, and I'm one of the hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
It's just us tonight, and it's a first for us. We've never recorded on a holiday, and we are recording on the 4th of July, 2021. We thought, hey, let's do it, man. Let's do it. I was in the process of editing an episode, and then Brandon and I decided let's do one, and we're gonna do a fun beer. Brandon, you gave me these beers yesterday, which was a surprise, so thank you very much. We did
You're welcome.
A movie night in my yard, which was a lot of fun with my nephew and your son. So thank you guys for coming over for that, even though there were a bit of technical difficulties and fireworks in the air that kind of changed things up. I fixed the technical difficulties, by the way, without saying it.
Good.
We're good. Projector works good. Fire stick is in full force. Next time we do a movie in the yard, it'll be much better. But with that being said, you when you showed up, you gave me a 2-pack of a beer, and I wasn't expecting it. So thank you very much. And this is I'm gonna say what it is, and then maybe you talk about it a little bit. This is Old Irving's Barrel Aged As Time Goes By 2021 J. Henry and Sons Bourbon Barrel Aged Belgian Quad. Do you have any more information on this beer other than what I just read?
So what I do know is J. Henry and Sons is a distillery out of Wisconsin that makes handcrafted bourbons. And they do it in their bourbons are aged in new charred oak barrels for a minimum of 5 years. So my assumption is that the barrels came from there and they made a quad, and it obviously was not 5 years, but definitely spent some time in there. I have not yet taken a sip, but I know the catalyst to this episode starting was you had started drinking this, and I was like, oh, maybe I should open mine, and you were like, maybe we should record this.
When in doubt, just press record.
Yes. So your first thoughts?
My first thoughts are, I really do enjoy Belgian beers. We've had some Belgian beers on here. You've brewed a beer. I've brewed a beer. We've had triples. We've had quads. We've not done doubles or singles yet. But as far as a Belgian bourbon barrel-aged quad, I think I know I've had some in the past. Nothing's coming to mind right now. But this is very good. This is sweet. A lot of barrel characteristic to it. There's a warmth going down the old esophagus, but nothing that's burning. It's light on the Belgian yeast fruity flavor, but there is that like candy. You know what? I'm gonna go on. Take another sip right now. I take that back. The barrel kind of lingers in my mouth, so I didn't take a sip. Maybe I waited because when you and I said we're gonna do this, I said I'm gonna hold off on drinking, so I stopped drinking it. But there is that like nice dark fruit, pruny, raisiny, plum flavor that I'm getting that I expect from a quad. But that like sweetness is also there. It's kind of strong, not in a bad way, not cloyingly sweet, but it's very nice. And the bourbon is good. It's like if I had a shot of like really good bourbon or good like not like a good bourbon shot. Like say I was sipping on Buffalo Trace, okay, something like that.
Yeah.
Even Jim Beam. I will even say Jim Beam. I like Jim Beam. Tony's rant real quick. I like Jim Beam. I don't give a fuck what people say. You've used it for a mixer, that's fine. But I also like just Jim Beam straight up. I think it's sweet. It's what I want from like a commercially priced bourbon. It's very good. But there is that sweetness that I come to expect from bourbon, and that's the kind of sweetness that's lingering in my mouth, and that barrel characteristic, and then that fruitiness, kind of comes back around. I gotta say, man, this is it's been a weird year for beers for me, and I even think for you and Clark, only because I feel like we've had some really good beers this year. That
Yeah.
and now we have the malties in mind, so I'm always going to that. We just did King Henry, which was fantastic, and this is reminiscent as far as like sweetness of a barley wine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this is this is uh this is fantastic. This is really good. This is one of the best, if not the best, barrel aged barley wine I've or not barley wine, Belgian Quad I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's
And I was gonna say, going off that, like you said barrel aged barley wine, and I was like, it's almost reminiscent of
yeah,
that.
I had that in my mind because that's kind of what it reminds me of. But that first taste that you get is very Belgian-y. I won't say it's like super Belgian-y where it's like lingering, but it does lean more towards a barley wine than a Belgian Quad. But from what I get from it, it's the things that I like about a Belgian Quad and a barrel aged beer.
Yeah, and my thought is that these barrel characteristics that we're getting from this are kind of swinging that Belgian Quad that way, because it's adding a little more sweetness, it's adding a little more oakiness, it's adding a little more, depth to the flavor. Like I would be really, really curious to try this like side by side with like the regular version and the barrel aged version.
Absolutely.
I to my knowledge, I don't think they've released a non-barrel aged version of this. This may have been their first time doing this. But that being said, I am 100% glad that I grabbed this when it came up.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, it is tasty. And like, again, I don't need to repeat everything that you said as far as like what you enjoyed about it, because a lot of that is the same for me. When I first took a sip, I was a little confused because I'm like, I guess, I was trying to go for that, Belgian Quad flavor. And I was like, what is this sweetness? What is this oakiness? And my brain was telling me it was off flavors, but then I'm like, I have to remind myself that it's not, it's a barrel aged version of a beer. And all of those flavors really do play really well into how this beer is constructed. I'm super impressed. And and again, you were saying, you're talking about like how we've had quads and all this other stuff, but like brewing wise, we've never brewed a quad, and that's next on like our to-do list. I know we've talked about brewing like the whole like everything Belgian.
Single, double, triple, quad.
And I would love to do a quad just to see like how it would turn out.
I just had with it being the 4th, I everybody's got plans, so I was hanging out with Mike, my brother-in-law, and we were going over some old recipes because I was talking about wanting to do either a Kolsch or West Coast IPA, which I know are very opposite ends of the spectrum, but those are the two types of styles I kind of just want to tap right now for summer, either a very nice West Coast IPA or a Kolsch. And we were going over his wedding beers because when I asked about the IPA, he's like, oh yeah, we did this wedding IPA for him, and we did some other stuff, and I did I want to say it was a Imperial Red Blood Orange IPA, but he also had a Belgian Quad that he did that wasn't supposed to be a part of the wedding beers, because we had the reception in his in-laws' backyard, as you know, and the Quad was in the house, and it was like, because we had other beers outside. The Quad was in the house. The Quad was being served inside the house, but it was like 9%, very raisiny. And I forgot like how good that beer was. Like we brewed it beforehand. We weren't going to include it for the wedding, and then Mike was like, "Well, no, let's add that to the wedding beers that they had on tap." And it was something that was so good. And as I'm drinking this, I'm reminded that like Mike has a really good Belgian Quad recipe that I think if we did it on your brewing system, the way that your beers have turned out, I think we will hit exactly what we were intending, which is like that rich, raisiny, sweet, dark fruit type of beer. It'd be nice if we nailed it and then can do our own barrel age version, whether it's we use a barrel or we, get some oak chips, soak them in bourbon, and do that as well. Because the Imperial Stout that we did Into the Void is really good. So I can't imagine us, going wrong with the Belgian Quad.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to Into the Void, we've gotten kudos among kudos. And again, we're not tooting our own horn, but we've
horns.
Yeah, but we've had, this has been distributed far and wide. So I've had a friend in, is it Utah? Oregon. Yeah, not Utah, Oregon. My father-in-law took it back to his friends in the KC area, and they all loved it.
The owner and proprietor of Fanny's herself enjoyed it. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah.
And the baker who I now work with, who no longer works at Fanny's, he's not a big stout drinker. He drinks hams. He loves hams. I told him he needs to come on for part 2 of the Old Man Beer episode with Jeff. But he really liked it. He understood, like, when he drank it. I think we talked about this, for certain beers. Like, if you're a baker, I described some beer where it's like, what was it? If I'm a bird, you're a bird. When I was talking about how, like, a baker would really enjoy that beer. That's how he felt about that stout that I did, because we did. He got the cinnamon. He got everything that we were trying to go with. So that's pretty awesome that we had that much feedback on that stuff. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Kind of going back to going on that. I had some friends over Friday night. Yeah, I got some bad news, and some friends showed up at my house. And one of my friends lives literally right around the corner, but he's never been in my house. I was like, you want to come in? Like, I've literally known him my almost entire life. Came down to the bar, and my other buddy was like, dude, you gotta let him try that homebrew you did. And I was like, really? that stouty one, that thing you did. You have to know, it was Sebastian. He was telling him, let him try.
I figured as much.
So
you guys don't know Sebastian yet. You don't know him yet.
We have to have him on an episode.
Absolutely.
So I poured some off, and I gave it to my buddy, and gave him one, of course. Anyways, we went out and sat out on the fire, and my buddy Nick was like, okay, his name's Nick, but anyway, my buddy was like, this is just really good. He's like, the cinnamon is so prominent in like the best way possible. And I was like, thank God, because we added cinnamon afterwards. But we added cinnamon beforehand too, but we felt it needed a notch up, and we dropped in a, I think I bought Saigon cinnamon sticks. I still
you
have
did,
them.
yeah. You soaked them in bourbon.
Soaked it in Buffalo Trace, and then dropped it in there with the Buffalo Trace, and blah, blah, and everyone's like, what is this, like 9%? I'm like, yeah, it's probably closer to between 11 and 13. Yeah, just to be safe. But yeah, and fucking tasty.
Yeah, and I feel like with that beer, how well we nailed it. Doing a quad, a Belgian quad, would be equally as successful on your setup. That was a long way of getting around, getting to that point. Yeah, but I mean that beer shows. I mean, that was a high alcohol beer. I think it was close to like 9 or 10. But yeah, like it was up there. That was probably one of the higher ABV beers that we had ever brewed. That turned out great. So if we did a Belgian quad much like this, and as you were discussing, your Friday night, I took another sip of this as time goes by from Old Irving Brewing, and it's opened up more. I am getting more of the Belgian-y flavors that I come to expect from a quad, which you're probably getting more of because mine was in the fridge. I put mine in the fridge last night after you gave it to me. Right away. Had things gone differently, we could have cracked this last night, but technical difficulties, fireworks, it's,
4th of July.
Yeah. What do you expect? You can't predict these things. But and actually, I'll throw this in there as well. We had another Old Irving Brewing beer last night, which was
Virtual Vacation.
Virtual Vacation, and that is a double milkshake IPA, correct? with Sabro hops, and what was the other hop? Do you remember?
No, but I can go grab a can and talk about it.
Well, good, because I'll talk about my experience with it. Because Brandon had checked this in the day before. He had stopped in there. He and his wife tried it, and the bartender sold it to them as a shit. This is why after the final pour is difficult. What is it? What's the drink where there's coconut,
pina colada,
and pina colada? Thank you. Sold it to them as that, and they got a lot from that. And the Sabro hop offers a lot of that. When I took a sip yesterday, I got more of a creamsicle feel to it, but it's a double IPA or double milkshake IPA. I don't know what the ABV is on it, Brandon. It's pretty up there, right? Like,
yeah, this is it's 8.5. Yeah,
well, 8.5. So
it
was
8.5.
really easy to drink. It was easy to drink. It tasted like I was drinking a melted Flintstone pop.
So what we were saying. So the thing is, Sabro, Strata, pineapple, coconut, vanilla, lactose, Sabro, and Strata.
Got it. Yeah. So all those do definitely lend themselves to a pina colada, but I was getting like a creamsicle feel to it with some coconut. So yeah, that was also another really good Old Irving Brewing beer that I've had this long weekend, which I'm happy to have a little time off. And Brandon, you and I, we hung out a bunch, man. We even went to a new brewery this week.
We did. Do we disclose or do we wait?
Fuck it, man. It's after the final pour, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
We went to Printers Row Brewing in Chicago, over by Austin Avenue and Lawrence Avenue, so in the Chicago area. They just opened up, and we're not going to give away too much of what we enjoyed because we were going to try and speak to them soon. But overall, it was a good experience. The beers were pretty good. And
again, aside from the beer, the most phenomenal thing about the location is you could literally walk right over to Earl's Barbecue.
Oh, yes. Get good barbecue.
Some of the best damn barbecues that you can get on the north side. Completely agree. Yeah.
Northwest side barbecue. Go get some Earl's Barbecue. It's very good. Very tasty. But yeah, so we did that. So you and I, we hung out and drank a bunch of beers this week. Or not a bunch of beers, but we did. We had some fun. We recorded. I forgot. We recorded an after the final pour as well recently.
We did.
That's before this. It's on and on. We recorded the half acre.
I'm like, what did we record? Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. And then we drank some Pipeworks S'more Money, so S'more Problems in Your Yard. So it's been a fun.
We did.
Been a fun weekend. Glad we ended it with as time goes by, the Barrel Age Quad from Old Irving Brewing. Brandon, thank you so much, man, for gifting this upon me. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
Like I said, looking forward to sharing the other one with you. So when we do our bottle share in the future, where we won't record, we're just gonna do a fucking bottle share on Hip Hops. We did say we're gonna do a bottle share with you, so I think that's when we'll share some of these beers.
But we could definitely do a bottle share and then later on do a recap of it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
See what our hazy minds can.
I think we get through a couple, and then maybe we save a beer specifically for after the final pour after we've done the bottle share. That's what we do. But the whole bottle share, although a bottle share episode isn't a terrible idea either, maybe that's what we just came up with. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks.
I'm enjoying this beer, man. I am.
Dude, I'm really enjoying it. I'm sad that. No, actually, I'm not sad. I've had a good amount. This is like the perfect amount that I have left. Fireworks are still going off outside in my neighborhood. It's almost midnight. But what a better way to finish our we're not even finishing the holiday weekend, man. I'm off tomorrow. You're off tomorrow too, right?
Yep.
Fantastic. So
thank God. So is my kid. So I got my kid home with us.
Well, this is great. It's like a fucking Saturday,
Yep, pretty much.
All right, man. You got anything else you want to say about this beer or anything else?
No, but also the artwork is pretty dope.
You do want to say something.
No, that's it. I was like, I was looking at the can. I was like, that artwork is pretty dope. That's pretty legit looking.
It reminds me a lot of the Krampus. It's very simple. It's an all black can with a black label and a white logo of what looks like some time gears turning. And the Krampus cans are also the same. We didn't do an after the final pour of the Krampus. I have no more Krampus left. I drank all the Krampus you gave me, or that I
have to
bought.
come by.
Ooh, another after the final pour. Fantastic. Let's
I've got your microphone.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody knows the difference, but I am not using my microphone. I'm just using my computer. So you might be hearing fireworks blowing off for all I fucking know.
I haven't been. Now that you mention it.
By the time this comes out, it'll be the towards the end of July, or if not August. So we got that going for us. So who cares? The microphone will be back. All right, Brandon, I love you, man.
Love you too, buddy.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Happy, just happy to be alive. Good stuff.
Enjoy your summer, everyone.
Yeah, be safe
with good beer and good friends.
Like us.
And hand sanitizer. Keep washing your hands. This doesn't mean you can't wash your hands anymore.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us on social media platforms individually. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, on Untapped, BDub Drinks Beer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Asa Phelps Chicago, on Twitter, The Asa Phelps Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.